Hi, thank you for having me here. I am Sha Roose, and when it's about the diagnosis, I was kind of young when I was first diagnosed, and it was news to my parents more than myself because at that age, too busy doing kid things, like chasing bugs and harassing other people into giving me things because I'm really cute. Um, Aside from that, I think the shock was more towards them and having to deal with, back in 1987, 88, uh, being new parents and knowing, oh, there is something that's different about my child, and not having the ability to ask relevant questions because even they didn't know what it is. They eventually reached out to families of SMA. That was way back then. And I remember finding little stickers for families of SMA. We had a biopsy done when I was about 5, I think, in Singapore on my arm and my leg. And first, they misdiagnosed me as spinal muscular dystrophy, and then they re-diagnosed me as spinal muscular atrophy. I don't know why, but that happened. There's there's not many exciting things that happen that didn't involve bringing me in and out of clinics, uh, acupuncture places, folk medicine. So the amount of times I would go into this thing we call the tabib China, like a Chinese medicine place, where they would give me things like deer antlers, which are a kind of fungus, and I would have to drink that. Or people would come over and say, "Oh, you should try this and you should try that." And my parents, who didn't really have anything to compare to, would be like, "Yeah, that's a really good idea. Well, let's put her on this and that." And so I can say that I have tried every type of medication, um, but nothing really worked. I was also a very active child up to a certain point where I couldn't be active anymore, I guess. We were looking for places where I could go exercise, where they had a pool that had a ramp. For example, I would see other kids who were doing their exercises, but it felt less communal and more um, uh, a, a safe house pity community, if I can say that. It's not accepted per se. It's more like the parents don't know what to do with these kids. They also don't know how to deal with disability and exercise and activity and making sure the kids are mentally, spiritually, and socially nourished. So they dump them in these kind of schools. Um, Obviously, we didn't go there. Uh, my brother and I were sort of active to a certain age. Played. My brother was in swimming. He played tennis. He also did taekwondo for a while. I was a bit weaker at his age, so I did not do taekwondo. Aside from that, other people, there were no adults with visible physical disabilities in my immediate circle, I feel. And if they were, they weren't in the center of attention. So I didn't have a lot to look for when it comes to like, oh, I'm going to be more like these people. But again, that representation was not there because you have to remember a while back, it was difficult to be disabled and be in the public eye. It was difficult to be disabled and use basic amenities that would be given to you if you were the common populace. Because it is simply too difficult to have ramps built. It is too difficult to accommodate all of these key features that would make most public spaces more accessible. So I think something my lecturer told me in my second year of uni was to appreciate the fact that I'm the hammer instead of the feather or the candy. I'm the stick instead of the carrot. And I'm like, I like that. Stick instead of the carrot, the hammer. Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna bludgeon some sense into people. And thereby learning the tact that needs to come with it. You can be as aggressive as you want. You can be as intense as you want about something that you love and want to pursue. But if people are not receptive to it, you will never get through to them. So that is something I also learned with We Care Journey, knowing how to navigate the corporate face of advocacy. It's not all about, oh, look at my plight. It's more about how can what I do also affect the community as a whole. Okay, when it comes to representation, following from where I was talking about previously, I understand that there are some people who don't want to bring their problems to light because they feel like if I bring up my problems, I'm going to be made fun of. So when it comes to sharing your stories, I say just share. You have nothing to lose. And as with sharing a rare disease story, the added benefit is that you engage with pharmaceutical companies that produce orphan drugs that we need, often at a higher price. So when you share your stories, you tell these companies that you exist, that there are more people that they think. Then it becomes, in this society, a more marketable exchange. So put yourself out there. Don't be scared. Just let it out. I would like to say to parents who have just found out that their child has a rare disease, reach out to as many people as you can. I know there'll be about 40 to 60% of people who will say things like, oh, I think my cousin's brother's uncle's nephew's cousin has something that you have. But in their wisdom comes a little bit of truth. They might know somebody who can direct you to the right places. It can be something as simple as a keyword that you'll eventually Google, or a person that will be like, hey, I know about global genes, or hey, did you check out Novartis? You know, things like that. Like it's usually a keyword that gets you to a point where you will become self-sufficient. But also remember that you're not alone. I know we all have our differences. I know we all have things that are difficult for us. But that's where we can help each other. My burdens become something that you can count on to help, and I will do likewise. I guess that's why we're here too.